say it differently. This election is a different election than any that's happened in my lifetime. Because this election actually comes down to a generational choice. What's at stake in this election is not simply what party is going to be in charge or what candidate we're going to elect. What's at stake in this election is what kind of country are we going to be in the 21st century. There's no doubt who we've been up to now. The most incredible country in the history of the world. It's still the greatest country in the world. We have a lot of problems, but we are still the greatest nation on this planet. You know why I know that? Because the richest people in China buy American real estate. Richest people in China send their children to American universities. Some of the over 200 years of American history, and never has a generation left the next worse off than themselves. But that is what we are on the verge of doing in America if we keep doing what we are doing now. And I say this to you without any pleasure. If the next 4 years are anything like the last 7 years, we may very well be the first generation to leave our children worse off than ourselves. That is the bad news, and that's why people are so frustrated. That's why there's so much anger and so much resentment towards Washington, because over the last 10 years, it doesn't seem to matter who we elect. Republicans, Democrats, a combination of both, nothing changes, nothing happens. The same problems, the same issues hang around. They seem out of touch with what's happening in our lives. And they seem out of date in their ideas, not realizing how much the economy has changed and how dangerous the world has become. I mean, perhaps the best example of it was Sunday night. The president gave a speech. Well, it was supposed to be a speech to reassure Americans. I wish he had never given it. Here's the gist of the speech in 10 seconds. I'm Barack Obama, not literally, I don't want people to listen. I refuse to call this a war on radical Islam. We're going to keep doing the same thing we're doing now and stop being so discriminatory. End of speech. No mention whatsoever about the challenges we face around the world, what an incredible risk radical jihadists have become to America, and how justified people are in being concerned about the future. No new strategy about how to address it. And so people look at that, and they look at all the other things that have happened, and they look at the fact that even though we elected a Republican majority to the Senate, nothing seems to change. And the frustration is deep, and it is real. And we must understand that and speak to it. But that while we need to be realistic about our challenges, we should also be optimistic about our opportunities. For though we today are headed on a road to decline, it does not have to be that way. If we do what needs to be done, our children and our grandchildren and the young people here today can become the freest and the most prosperous Americans that have ever lived. And the 21st century can be a new American century of opportunities. Everything I just mentioned to you, making America more competitive economically, helping our people acquire the skills they need for the 21st century, rebuilding our military and defeating ISIS and confronting the threats around the world, we can do all of these things. Many of the problems we face are self-inflicted, either negligence or the wrong action. We can fix these problems. And we still have time to fix these problems. But we do not have forever. And we are running an amazing story of the greatest nation in the history of all mankind. Thank you for welcoming me back. I look forward to coming again.